1%, a figure, a number. My country's shame, a trafficker's plunder. Innocence ruined, papers taken away, from freedom to chains, from person to prey. I grew up in a beautiful country, I know. Forests and flowers, log cabins and snow. But all of that got taken away the day my parents chose to migrate. Lack of opportunities, money, such like. At age 7, it's so easy to believe the lie that everything turns out all right, when it won't, not at all. The day my neighbour passed away heralded the start of my orphanage stay. His name was Sandu, the man who ran the home. It means protector of the people, yet he left us alone. He didn't feed us, choosing alcohol instead, making up for it by sending boy after boy out with us every night, as I tried with all my might to understand why he didn't just take care of us, instead of pushing us off with boys I barely knew. But it was different. It was fun, being out after the sun, living a life, instead of moping through my small square window about what could have been. Then I reached 18, and the world became real, too real for me.
We're basically sisters, Maria and I. We do everything together. Dancing, handshakes, running and tongue twisters. We met as orphanage roommates, strangers. Now we're besties, there is no danger of the orphanage ever being boring again. Our running joke being I'm 2 weeks younger than her, and it snows on my birthday and never hers. Fresh sunlight on snow and silver furs, yet our fall from innocence and fun came so fast. So fast it came, its welcome overstayed. I lie in bed and think sometimes, is it my fault for believing the lie that everything turns out all right? Little did I know what would happen. Little did I know of the traffickers waiting in early November when she was taken.
I shouldn't wish she was older than me, but when freedom is scarce, it's so easy to be inhuman towards could-be victims that remain untouched. I know she could have been trafficked as easily as me, yet I get the scars and she remains free. It was a regular night out, until blindfolded, I was dragged in a bout of frenzy by my so-called boyfriend, hands tied, dumped in the back of a car, the highway rough on my spine, cheap tyres on tar that took me away from all I called home. So many people, yet completely alone.
My children are starving. Gloves worn, shirt threadbare under my company coat. I stand at the border 12 hours each day, checking bags, etc., as they pay to escape the clutches of the frontier of failure, Moldova. My children are starving. 12 hours a day and so little pay. 12 hours a night, my vision goes gray with fatigue. So when they come with bags that weigh like crack, or even when their prey, in the form of young girls, are hidden in the back, $1,000 is too pretty a price to play. With traffickers and pimps who keep my kids' hunger at bay, I just let them pass through, not thinking about how the girls will be moved from country to brothel all over the place. And suddenly they're gone, and it's time for my break. My children are starving. Am I really the one to blame?
One pimp to another, my boyfriend left the scene, back to the orphanage to be met with more screams, trafficking more unsuspecting women. No. Girls. Or does this make you into a woman? Maybe I was sheltered before from the worldly reality I am now immersed in, the reality of being raped, on the hour, by the hour, 12 men a day. Sure, they pay. But do I see a cent? A euro? A yen? Whatever country we're in? No. Only men.
Capitalism, they say, as they shrug Moldova's woes away, as they forgive and forget an offence they had not known, scrolling to the next article on cake or schools or even swimming pools, silencing the voices of the victims in their Western naivety. It could never happen to me, they say, when merely existing can make you pray. Traffickers closing in on their next unsuspecting victim like a snake, a cliche, I know. There are only so many times we can shout the truth to the world, whilst they ignore, dismiss our situation, blame it on the fall of communism or the rise of capitalism, when in fact that is not solely the fault. How easy it is, in problems concerning money, to ignore the victim. I used to be a politician, until I couldn't take it anymore, so I walked out the door, unable to cope with how the government point-blank denied the existence of sex trafficking, even when it was undeniable, even when it was their fault. Yes, their fault, not mine. I left, keeping Moldova on $7 a day, offering no way out. The circle of injustice begins, thriving in a business that's illicit, and we remain complicit. Places like Moldova viewed as economically irrelevant, socially problematic, just because we don't race the same way successful Western capitalist countries do. We are labelled as other. We are unseen. We are invisible, just because of our lack of money and military power. Just because we have a low GDP does not make us invisible. Capitalism, what you blame sex trafficking on. Capitalism, your excuse to ignore it. Your excuse to carry on. Pretending you had never heard. Staying silent. Rendering victims unheard.
Mum told me about how she was born in a camp in 1940 Siberia under a dirt cheap lamp. The child of a trafficker, that's what she used to say. She never knew her mother as she was taken away. The government made her an orphan by the trafficking camps, forced labour for free. She told me never to forget to be vigilant of men lurking in the shadows of the carefree. Yet I still migrated, leaving my own daughter in a home because I couldn't find work as a single mother, alone in a country that never could care for my heart. Now I work as a supervisor in an American Walmart, yet I think about her day after day after day and hope to God that she's okay.
I've been here a year now. All I hear are screams. Not mine anymore, it's the new ones. You see, the breaking period is what they call it, except you're never there long enough to comfort them after, when you're crying along to their evil laughter. I've been moved around so much. Every touch degrades my dignity. Downwards I fall, met by apathy, social blasphemy. Their strategy is my tragedy.
Guilt riddles my sleep. I can't get her out of my head. It would have been me if it wasn't her instead. Her naivety is my knowledge. If not for her, I'd have been their prey. I don't know where she is. Dubai, India, or the USA, awaiting her decay. Day after day after day, guilt riddles my waking. For justice, my heart is aching.
Poverty, the crown of thorns of the developing world. Communism kept us poor, but equally so, capitalism keeps us poor, unequally though. The rich get richer, the rest live on $7 a day, Most of that goes on alcohol, despite the bills to pay. Children to feed turn into bodies populating orphanages, as 25%, a growing figure, migrate abroad to be able to feed their children already disfigured from abandonment and their worldview corrupted by the traffickers, as they make mere children their revenue. Imagine being sold by your guardian, protection traded for rejection, calling in men to rate your perfection by inspection, and finally, selection, followed by the unthinkable, miserable objection. So even if Moldova as a whole came together to fight sex trafficking, the atrocity destroying our nation, would you even hear about it? Would you even care?
They call it hell for a reason you couldn't know. A season of mental treason for reasons that must remain unarticulated. The system I was trapped in for 7 years became my shame, my secret tears. Not allowed to talk about it, even when 1 in 100 is a girl like me who's been through the trafficking, the travelling, the STDs. Then got back to Moldova in a state of despair, only to be told that no one cares. I changed my name when I escaped, because my trauma was online. Yes, they taped the worst times of my life and refused to take it down. I can't keep it in, but I have to until the world stops making the choice to keep this hell a secret and is ready to hear my voice.